Malaysia Airlines is in the middle of a seriously impressive transformation. We're not just talking about buying a few new planes here and there. Nope, they are completely reinventing their fleet from the ground up, and it's setting the stage for a bold new chapter. So let's dive in and see exactly how they're pulling it off. So that's really the big question, isn't it? How on earth does an airline go about completely overhauling its entire collection of aircraft in just a handful of years? It is a massive, massive undertaking, and it's absolutely central to the comeback story of this iconic carrier. To really get our heads around this, we're going to break it down into 5 key parts. We'll start with a snapshot of where the fleet is right now. Then we'll dig into their two-pronged strategy for short flights and long-haul journeys. We'll also, of course, talk about the bumps in the road they've hit before looking ahead to the really ambitious future they're trying to build. Okay, first up, a fleet in transition. Let's get a really clear picture of what the airline's mainline operation looks like today. So as of late 2025, the mainline fleet sits at 87 aircraft. And right away, you can see their core strategy taking shape. It's pretty clear. Airbus for the long-haul wide-body flights, and Boeing for the shorter narrow-body routes. And it's a mix of the classic workhorse 737-800 and the brand-new shiny 737 MAX 8. And the pace of this change is just staggering. In only 3 years, the airline has brought in 21 brand new jets from both Boeing and Airbus. At the same time, they've been retiring those older, less efficient models. So this isn't just a minor refresh, it is a full-on technological leap forward. So let's break that strategy down a bit more, starting with part 2, the Boeing MAX revolution. This is all about how they're completely modernizing their routes around the region. And they have moved fast. All 14 of their initial MAX 8 order have already been delivered, and that's all happened since late 2023. So as these new jets come online, the older 737-800s are being phased out. Some are being shifted over to their subsidiary, Firefly, and a couple have even found a new home all the way over in Africa with Rwanda Air. It's really a textbook example of a modern fleet strategy in action. But listen, it's not just about getting new planes, it's about creating a dramatically better experience for passengers. The airline is going to install true lie-flat business class seats on its upcoming 737 MAX 10s. Now, for regional flights, that is an absolute game changer. It puts them in a completely different league from a lot of their competitors. Okay, let's switch gears and look at the other half of their strategy, Section 3, Airbus for the long haul. This is all about their big plan for expanding their global reach. The wide-body renewal is just as aggressive, believe me. The first new A330-900 arrived in late 2024, and by early 2025, the leases on their older A330-200s were already expiring. So what's the goal here? To become one of the biggest operators of the A330neo in the entire region. That's the ambition. And here's a story that just brilliantly shows how dynamic the aviation market can be. The airline's 7th A350 has a really fascinating backstory. See, it used to fly for Scandinavian Airlines, SAS, but when SAS filed for bankruptcy, this beautiful jet ended up just sitting in storage in the US. Well, Malaysia Airlines saw a golden opportunity, snapped it up, and put it back into service with a totally different, higher-density seat layout. But of course, bringing in brand new cutting-edge aircraft, well, it doesn't always go off without a hitch. And that brings us to our 4th section, a rocky start. I mean, just imagine the excitement, right? You've got this brand new flagship aircraft. It's all ready for its first big international flight. And then it gets grounded just a few days later. Well, that's exactly what happened with the airline's very first A330neo back in late 2024. And the airline's leadership was, to put it mildly, furious. The group managing director, Isham Ismail, did not hold back at all, saying publicly that it was unacceptable and embarrassing and that the manufacturers needed to be held accountable. So what in the world went wrong? Well, that first flight was plagued by multiple technical problems. The airline pointed the finger squarely at poor quality work from the factory, and then later, engine maker Rolls-Royce found a faulty component. So the key takeaway here is that this was a complex failure. You've got problems with the people who built the plane and the people who built the engines. But despite those early challenges, the airline is absolutely pushing forward with an incredibly ambitious vision. So let's look at our final section, Forging the Future Fleet. And just get a load of these numbers. The airline has a massive order book. We're talking 28 more A330-900s, and then a combined 41 more 737 MAX 8s and MAX 10s that are still to come. This represents a huge, huge investment in their future.
And to put that narrow-body plan into perspective, the airline is aiming for a grand total of 55 Boeing 737 MAX aircraft by the year 2030. That is a completely, totally modernized short-haul fleet.
So it all boils down to this beautifully simple two-pronged strategy. Boeing for narrow-body, Airbus for wide-body. And this is a really smart move. It simplifies everything. We're talking maintenance, pilot training, even just stocking spare parts. It also gives them some serious negotiating leverage because they can play two of the world's biggest manufacturers off of each other for future deals.
And this really brings us to our final question. The airline has done the hard work, right? They've modernized the fleet, they've clarified their strategy, they've even overcome some initial setbacks and now have this clear blueprint for growth. So is this the dawn of a new era for Malaysia Airlines on the world stage? Well, only time will tell.